In this video, I want to cover 3 non-diet things that could be affecting your blood sugar. As we know, diet is so integrated into balancing blood sugar. That's pretty obvious, and that's give you a whole other video that I do. What I want to focus on today is the non-diet things that could be affecting blood sugar, because these are the things that can impact it just as much as diet, and I don't want these to be overlooked for you. So first, we'll start off with some of the basics of like, what is insulin? What does it do? The insulin is a hormone made inside your pancreas, and it's excreted out to have the job of pulling out the sugar from your blood and shuttling it inside the cell, because that's where the glucose is needed. That is where ATP, that classic energy, is made, is inside the cell. So we want to get it inside the cell and not being in your blood sugar. So that's the very, very, very basics of insulin. But you can see when a person is starting to become more insulin resistant, let's say someone who has a high sugar, high refined carb diet, there's a constant demand for your pancreas to release insulin to shuttle this into the cell, where it can start to become a problem, and communication might become not the best because it's constantly demanded, it's always high, and that's really hard on the cell. Now, also, in addition to, there could also be the theory of maybe there's something going on inside the cell, a lot of oxidative stress, some imbalances, and maybe it's your body's door on your cell that's kind of shutting and saying like, we don't need any more glucose, or there's going to be some big problems here. So maybe that's also a reason why that communication with the insulin in the cell is messed up. So to keep it real simple, you can think of the cell having a little door on the cell membrane, and the insulin is the key. And it is the key to open the door and, hey, tell the glucose to come in. So when someone is insulin resistant, what happens is that they kind of change the locks. It just, not literally, but they do change the locks that the door can't open, and then there's going to be more glucose that's left inside the blood. And that is your basics of insulin. So let's jump into the juicy stuff, the stuff that you want to know. Okay, so the first one that is going to affect your blood sugar balance, that's not diet related, is going to be stress. This one is huge. And I don't want you to even think for a second that it's not important. And it's the hardest. That's my opinion. But I know a lot of people also agree, because it's not like, oh yeah, I can change what I can eat. No, it's like big life changes. My work is stressing me out. I have a really complicated relationship with family, or I'm in a really bad relationship, or other things that could be stressing you out. Stress is such a big factor in blood sugar balance. And I say that because when we are in a fight or flight response, which is stress, when cortisol is high, that's our stress hormone, it is going to tap into our stored glucose, our glycogen, from the liver and the muscles, and its goal is to take out that stored glucose, make it a usable form, and have it prepped and ready for you to run from a tiger. Because remember, your body doesn't know that it's a traffic jam that's stressing you out. That is as equivalent, if you are getting stressed out about that, that's equivalent to you being chased by a tiger and something that is really fight or flight. And so all it knows is that this is stressful. It's a stressful event. So I want to prepare your body to be ready to run and protect yourself. And to be able to run, you need that really fast energy, which is going to be glucose. So you can see where this is becoming an issue, because a lot of us are chronically stressed. Every single day, there's something going on, and we're not changing, and we're in this rat race, and we're in this cycle that's being hard to be broken. And you could be eating perfectly, and you could be exercising, but this can be your downfall to balanced blood sugar, is stress. So I encourage you to figure out and uncover what that stress is if it's something in the past, working with a therapist to really work on it, adding meditation, adding journaling, adding something to your day, or taking out something, cutting off a relationship, making a big move, changing jobs, something that you will be happy with that can answer your why I'm always stressed question. So stress is number 1. Number 2 is going to be micronutrient deficiencies. If you are new here, welcome. Heads up, PSA, nutrients are the key to every single cellular function enzyme reaction, or anything you can think of. And the nutrients that play a part in blood sugar control is going to be magnesium and chromium and alpha lipoic acid. These, and there's so much more. This is not just it. Even vitamin D has a relationship. These are all things that are going to be dependent on if you have enough. If you do have a deficiency in these, then you will feel issues with balancing your blood sugar. I really want to highlight magnesium because magnesium is a part of 300 different enzyme reactions in the body. And it does play a role in the metabolism of carbohydrates. It plays a role in every single aspect. Magnesium is king for sure. You could be not eating enough magnesium nutrient dense sources. That could be it. Or you could also be having a high demand. Think back to the first one I just mentioned, stress. Let's say you're always stressed. That causes such a high demand for magnesium and your body might be using it up and you can't keep up with it with just diet. So maybe you need to supplement. So this is where deficiencies can happen. It's often a supply and demand issue. But studies do show that being deficient in magnesium can cause insulin resistance. Now, the second one is chromium. This is found in a lot of blood sugar balancing supplements for good reason, because it does play a role in fat and carb metabolism. And it's been found that it plays a role in insulin signaling and also insulin receptors. So when you don't have enough chromium, now we're getting into, well, the receptors of insulin aren't working properly. So you can see where that can trickle down into a domino effect too. Now, I know how tempting it is, especially when you watch a YouTube video or you're on social media and you're like, okay, great, I'm having blood sugar issues, magnesium, chromium, check, let me get a supplement. But to be honest, I know people, and we've done lots of lab testing at this point in our careers, that's not always the case. That's not always needed. And what I don't want is for you to having to waste your money on supplements that you may or may not need. Some people are amazing and they feel great and it does help them balance blood sugar. But I do know lots of people that really just don't need a supplement. That is not their root cause. So I always speak about different, or having the same diagnosis, the same issue, but having different root causes, which means you take a different approach to each thing. So don't run out and just grab supplements. May not be your thing, may not be needed at all. Highly recommend testing. We do a full panel of micronutrient testing to make sure that all your nutrients are in tip-top shape. Now, number 3 is going to be lack of sleep. This also honestly is hand in hand with stress, to be honest, but a study showed that one night of bad sleep, one night, and when I learned about this in school, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, is this for real? But one night of bad sleep, it makes you more insulin resistant the next day. And how many of us are not getting enough sleep, or having bad quality sleep, or waking up at 2 to 3 a.m., which, just want a little side note there, that can also show blood sugar imbalance. Maybe you're getting too low of blood sugar and that's what's waking you up. So getting vital quality sleep is so necessary. And if that's something you know that you're doing, that you're like, okay, I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m., we need to start working on increasing that to a decent amount of sleep and working with your circadian rhythm, which is very similar to the sun rising in the morning and it going down at night. That should be how your body is feeling. So if you're feeling really stressed and anxious and wired, by the end of the day, we have to look into hormones and we got to see what's going on and what's causing that. So in summary, I want you to stress less, sleep more, and making sure you can at least start with a whole foods diet, eating foods that are nourishing to your body, that can supplement magnesium and chromium and all these nutrients, and not just those, because a lot of those nutrients are besties with another nutrient and they help absorb each other and maybe can also throw off each other. So having too much of something can throw off another. So making sure that you are not mega dosing on one particular nutrient, but just getting a whole foods diet, starting there and tweaking your supplement and customizing that personally to you. So if you need this extra one-on-one support and lab testing, feel free to reach out to us. We have a link in the description that is our Work With Us link to book a free 15-minute call with me. We'll chat, we'll game plan about your situation particularly, and then kind of go from there and create a customized plan for you. So go get sleep. You better not be watching this YouTube video late at night.